Hey, what's up? I am going to be doing a 90s kid review of Gleaming the Cube, which is a 1989 movie with Christian Slater. I believe it came out after he did Heathers, which wasn't his first movie. He was in like a lot of TV movies, and he had one kind of major movie beforehand, but it was still an earlier work for Christian Slater. There are a lot of other actors in it I recognized but didn't know them well enough to know by name. Tony Hawk is in it. But, like, that's the only person I was like, oh, hey, I, like, know that dude's name. The only other guy that was, like, fully recognizable to me, I don't even know the actor's name. He played Rain in Big Trouble in Little China, one of the coolest, really, of the three storms that worked for Lopan. So this movie, I saw it, I was like, okay, that was really, what? And then, I was just so confused and in awe of it, so I watched it again, because I liked it so much, and now I have insomnia, and I've just been watching it every night, like, trying to fall asleep, because I love it so much, and I really shouldn't, but I find that I like a lot of Christian Slater's early works. Like, I love The Wizard. I will stand by The Wizard. I love Heathers. I really like this. There are a few others I'll list that I really like as well, that, you know, I don't know how popular they are, but I really like them. So anyway, this movie, I don't really hear people talking about it. I don't think it was very well received by critics, and I think that it should have been. It's a pretty good movie because it takes a it's not a whodunit, but it is like a crime film. I don't know how to describe it because the plot, you think it's gonna go one way and then something else happens, and then you realize you're only like 30 minutes in, and where's this movie gonna go? So I can see, however, it's a very, very niche audience. So it takes place, well, it's supposed to take place in Orange County, but it was 100% filmed in LA, definitely. And it's about, like, this group of, well, it's about this one kid, he's like a skateboarder, and apparently a lot of kids who were really into skateboarding in the late 80s, early 90s did really like the film. And I could see why. This is kind of showing, you know, skateboarders in a way that they weren't really being depicted, and that's pretty cool. And I think a lot of them seem to really like the film. So, you know, and nowadays movies are made for mass market and mass appeal, but, you know, it's okay to have a niche movie that's made for a certain group of people, or to show a certain group of people, and to highlight, like, culture or counterculture, which this film does. So, Christian Slater is Brian. And he has an adoptive brother, Vinny, who is Vietnamese, and he works for this, like, anti-communist, or, like, this, like, relief fund that's trying to help Vietnam out. I'll be honest, my knowledge of Vietnam is limited to the 60s, so I don't really know what was up with Vietnam in 1989. So sorry. But he noticed some discrepancies in shipments, and he goes to his boss to talk about him, and his boss just gets kind of angry and dismisses it, and then he, later, like, he's at home, he's talking to his brother, and they're hanging out, and it occurs to him that he wasn't wrong, and he realizes there's something kind of nefarious afoot. So then he goes down to this, like, shipping yard to see, and he sees some things he shouldn't, and this other guy, the guy, Rain, from Big Trouble in Little China, and his boss take him to this hotel, and along with this other guy, Lawndale, that they work for, they accidentally kill him, and they stage it to look like he committed suicide in this hotel room. And then we kind of meet this cop, who originally, when I saw him on screen first, he was Brian, and is a skateboarder, and his group of friends had broken into this wealthy man's house to skateboard in his empty pool. And he got in trouble for it with this cop, and originally, when I first saw them, I thought they were going to be the brothers, and the cop was going to get killed, and he was going to investigate the cop brother's death. Then, the cop's not his brother, but the two actors just have really great chemistry, that it seemed like they should have just had, I would have rewritten it, like, then and there, so that they were three brothers. But anyway, that's the cop that is investigating the brother's apparent suicide. However, he does not think it's a suicide. And then Brian also doesn't think thinks it's a suicide. So he starts trying to investigate his brother's murder, and then he starts getting stalked by Rain, This is in the first 30 minutes, and then he figures out who killed him and why. In the first 30 minutes, the audience see who killed Vinny and knows why they killed Vinny, and then Brian sees who killed Vinny and knows why they killed Vinny. So I'm sitting there like, this movie has an hour and 10 minutes left. Where the is it gonna go? And it did not go where I would thought. And that's very rare for me to be like, okay, I have no clue what's gonna happen. I'm just here for the ride. This is not an obvious film. This is not a color by the numbers film. It's crazy. It's dumb. It's schlocky, and I love it. So Brian ends up investigating Vinny's death with the police officer. And like I said, they do have a really great chemistry, and it's kind of worth watching it for that. And Christian Slater's performance is so good. There's a scene where he's talking to the cop, and he says, "I don't think my brother killed himself." And his, like, voice cracks, and he's trying really hard not to cry. And that's, like, something really subtle, but it's such a good performance on his part. And it's such a good little thing to add in because it's very realistic. And that was just, oh man, he said it so well. And then there's a scene later where he's at Vinny's gravesite, and he's crying, saying he doesn't like doing his homework alone, which is, I mean, for a 16-year-old to lose their brother, who's not much older, that's a very realistic feeling to have. It might not be the best script, but that there are these small character moments that really play out very well. And it's going back into the plot. He ends up starting to hang out with Vinny's girlfriend. That's the only thing I didn't really like. Like, I like that the girlfriends and Brian were getting close, but I don't know, dating your late brother's girlfriend's kind of weird, especially when you know her father killed him. So Rain starts stalking him, and then he ends up getting killed by the boss and the other guy, Lawndale, the girlfriend's dad and Lawndale. And then so he sees that, and he calls the police, and they don't believe him, and then he ends up getting followed by these other men who work for Lawndale and the girlfriend's father. And he's kind of trying to protect her, but more trying to figure out, like, how to get back at these men for killing his brother. And he ends up, like, blowing up a propane tank, which is super dangerous. And the cop gets mad at him, and then, like, things escalate so that there's this huge chase scene with these two dudes on motorcycles and him on a skateboard. Oh, I forgot to mention, this is a movie that's like a niche for skateboarders, and I didn't even mention how good the skateboarding is in this. It's phenomenal. They definitely had a lot of, like, stunt doubles and stuff, but, like, it's crazy, out of this world, such good skateboarding. And is there an angsty, like, Footloose-esque scene where he goes off and skateboards like a dancer to a, intense song? Yes, there is. And is there an 80s song that has a title of the film in it, like almost every 80s movie did? Of course there is. It's pretty good, too. So anyway, he does end up getting back at the men who killed his brother. Like I said, they killed Rain, and then Lawndale kills the girlfriend's dad, and then Brian ends up stopping Lawndale from killing the girlfriends, and they get together at the end, which again is kind of weird. And overall, it's like it's a sad film about this poor kid who gets murdered for doing the right thing, and his brother trying to avenge his death. But I think it's a pretty underrated film, and it's unfortunate that it didn't really get much attention. And certainly if you are really into skateboarding in the 90s, I think this is something that could, like, be kind of reminiscent for you, and you might appreciate. Yeah, I liked the film, and I think more people should watch it. It's on Amazon Prime right now. And if you have that, it's free, and it's only like an hour and a half, and it's unexpected, and I think you'd have a fun time with it. With that being said, we need a Moon Knight movie, and thank you so much for watching. Bye.